YouTube, how's it going? Beautiful day. Very calm water like glass. A little bit brighter out than I'd like it to be. I've been dying to do some topwater fishing, so that's what I'm going to do. Brought my trusty cart. I brought 2 poles with me. I brought my new tackle box. I'll show you what I'm going to start off with. This is my favorite setup. We all know that I'm an Abu Garcia freak. This is an Ambassador 5000. This is a 3-screw model. Abu switched from 4 screws to 3 screws in 1967, just to give you a little history. Give you kind of a date of how old this reel is. It also has a smooth foot plate. So this reel was made sometime between 1967 and 1972. In 1972, Abu started putting dimples on the foot plate. I do have Abus that are older than this one. I have a 4-screw one, which means it was made before 1967. It's a beautiful reel. I got it as a birthday gift from my mother-in-law. It's almost flawless. I don't have the bag for it. I do have the other spool, but it's got a 5:3:1 gear ratio. It's a beautiful red color. I have it on a Berkley cherry wood. This is 7-foot medium, 1/4 to 3/4 ounce lures, 8 to 17 pound line. I can't remember what pound line this is. I haven't used this one in a while, so hopefully I won't have any problems. So I got my new tackle box, tackle bag, and I got my topwater lures here. Lots of choices. I'm gonna pick one and hopefully we'll be able to get some fish on topwater. All right, so here's the lure I chose. Standard Whopper Plopper 90. I've caught a lot of fish off this lure. It's pretty scraped up. It's a little bit brighter out than I want it to be, but hopefully they'll come up for this Whopper Plopper. Let's give it a shot. I'm already caught. It happens. This reel casts beautiful. Now what I like to do when I throw a topwater lure is as soon as it hits the water, I let it sit for a minute and then I engage the reel. I'll let it sit there for quite a while, maybe 10-15 seconds. Then I'll give it a couple twitches because you might have a customer sitting right there. There's a bunch of different ways you can retrieve this. If you want to go simple, you can just straight retrieve it. Or you can do a short retrieve, then pause, short retrieve, then pause, twitch it a little bit, a whole bunch of different ways. Got bluegills chasing it. Let's just try straight out. You never know. You can zigzag this thing back and forth. Now, what I also discovered too is you can actually change the amount that this pops in the water by how high or low you have your pole. If you have the tip of your pole higher up, it rides lower in the water. The tail end of it rides lower in the water, and you get more splashing out of it. This way. Let's step a little closer. Almost a bad flash. I'm not afraid to admit it. I do it. Got tangled. Oh well. I'm going to wait a little bit until this cloud passes in front of the sun. We'll be back in just a bit. All right, while I'm waiting for it to get a little bit dimmer out, thought maybe I would show you some of my topwater lures that I have. I have 2 boxes of them. Here they are. We'll spin that around. I'm a big headend fanatic. I have a lot of headends. This one in particular right here has consistently caught me a ton of bass, some really nice large ones. I highly recommend this color. I'll turn it so you can see it. This is the Heddon Tiny Torpedo. I have it in about 4 or 5 different colors. I've got some larger ones. They're caught together. Standard red and white. This is the Heddon Baby Torpedo. I like this pattern. I have a few hula poppers. This little tiny one right here has caught me so many bass. I'm almost ready to retire this lure. It's you can see the tail is all munched up. There's some missing. This is a really excellent lure. I highly recommend buying this one. This is the I think this is the smallest hula popper they make. I've got this one right here. This one is really similar to the Tiny Torpedo. This is a Lucky 13. It's the same color as this one. It gives you a little bit different action because it doesn't have the propeller on the back, but it does have this nice scoop on the front. Now this lure right here, this is another excellent one. This one would be in great consideration if you had to stick me with just one topwater lure. I've caught so many bass off of this one too, and a lot of panfish. Now I think I bought this lure at Meijer, I think. And if I haven't mentioned it before, if you have a Meijer store near your house, they do have some pretty nice off-brand lures that work really, really well. In fact, I liked this one so much, I went out and I bought a second one in case something happens to this one. Lures that I really like a lot, I have more than one. I keep them in the package, hanging up downstairs in my basement. That way I have them. Oops. This is a buzz plug. I've caught some nice ones off of this. Very similar to the Whopper Plopper. This has been around a lot longer than the Whopper Plopper. This is great for lily pads and other weedy areas. It's got one of these slide-on weedless hooks. Of course, if you wanted to put a snap ring on there and put a treble hook on, you could, but I run this along lily pads. It gets really good results. And of course, we have the standard Whopper Ploppers. This is a 90. Caught a lot of fish off of that one. This is a double down. This is like the Whopper Plopper, but this is XPS. This is Bass Pro Shops line. The front and the back spin. I've had a little bit of trouble of getting both of these to spin, and I think it has something to do with the wire down the center not being perfectly straight. Now this is a Whopper Plopper 75F. 2 summers ago, this lure was so hot. I mean, it barely touches the water and a fish grabs it. Nice, a lot of nice bass off of this one. And I've got some other ones. Here's a Lucky 13. I love this color. This is a great color, red and white. This is another lure like that fish lure that I showed you a few minutes ago, made by the same company. It's just a bigger size. And it's a little bit different than this tiny one. This tiny one has little holes in the front. I don't know if you can see them really well on camera. Helps make a lot of bubbles. These are just my standard hula poppers. They come in a bunch of different sizes, bunch of different colors. I've caught some nice ones off of that. Now the ones I haven't had luck with here at the pond, for some reason, they don't like the crazy crawler. And they don't like jitterbugs. And I really quite haven't figured out why. I've tried using jitterbugs time and again on occasion, and they just don't catch fish here. Now that's not to say that they're not a good lure. I've caught some nice fish off of jitterbugs in other places. It just seems like the 3 ponds that I fish that are near my house, they just don't like the jitterbug for some reason. I really can't quite figure it out. These are Whopper Plopper knockoffs. I think these are XPS's. I'm not sure. I don't remember. And then in this box, I've got some classics that I just love. This one right here is one of my all-time favorite lures. Heddon Bassarino. I primarily used this when I was in Canada. Catches bass like crazy. This one's a little big, but this was what was available to me to purchase. I've got another one similar by Heddon, except for this one's plastic and it looks like a frog. This one's made out of wood. I've got a variety of different plugs. Obviously, you can see that. These are the Bass Pro Shop. I call it the cheap lure bin. This comes in a bunch of different colors. Very, very good lures. There's this gold one right here. Not the frog one, but this gold one, you can see it's all chopped up. And the reason it's chopped up is because it caught me a lot of fish. So Bass Pro Shop usually has a bin at the back of the store, and usually everyone walks past it. I don't know why. The fish don't know what you spend on a lure. They just know they want to eat it. So if you're on a budget and you want quite a variety of lures, I suggest you check the Bass Pro Shop. I call it the cheap bin, because I think these are what, $2.98, $3 a piece. Like yeah. So and that's pretty much all my top waters. Here's another good one. Now this one right here, this one's an absolute classic. This was one of my wife's favorite lures. I've used it quite a bit myself, 2 summers in a row. The bass just go nuts over it. Absolutely nuts. You can see it's well used. I really should change out the tail hook. It's a little bit on the rusty side. You can see it's all scraped up from bass hitting it. But this I got at Walmart. It came in a 3-pack. And I lost the original one, and I could not find this in a single, so I actually bought the 3-pack just to get this lure. But this was a really, really hot lure. It's still a pretty hot lure. I'm still waiting for the sun to go down a little bit. I guess that cloud's not going to move in front of it, but we'll wait a little bit longer, and we'll see what happens. All right, guys, I'm switching rigs. They don't seem to be digging the plop. I'm going to switch to this Heddon Baby Torpedo. Now, using a different pole, you probably recognize a reel like this from my last video. This is another Abu Garcia 5600 WS that I bought. I just love these reels. I'm an absolute Abu freak. Now, the WS was made in 1982 and was a Walmart special. And the wiffle spool, and I can't really turn it around for you to see, the WS stands for wiffle spool. It's got a really fat spool in there. It's made out of aluminum with holes in it, and there's plenty of bearings in this reel. You only made this for 1 year. You can get these on eBay, but they are kind of going for a premium. I've seen them go for as much as $800. That's not what I paid for it, but that's what I've seen some of them going for. I have this on, this is Bass Pro Shop 2-piece rod. This is their new graphite series, which they currently seem to be sold out of. Again, 7 foot, 1/4 to 5/8 ounce, 8 to 17 pound line on there. I don't know what pound line this is. When I bought this reel off of eBay, this was a line that was on the reel. I liked the line so much, I just decided to keep it. So I can't really tell you much about this line. It's a great pole. I think these are about 40 or 50 bucks. That's if you can find one. My last 2 trips back to Bass Pro Shop, none of these, none of the cherry woods. So let's try this little bright lure and see what happens. There we got one. Nice. He popped it. He popped it. Little guy. Yeah, up. Come on now. There we go. See the trouble you caused yourself? You hooked yourself in the gill plate. Having trouble getting that hook out of his gill plate. I don't want to hurt this little guy. I want him to get bigger. Let me grab my pliers. I already have a pair of long nose pliers handy. We're gonna let this little guy go. As soon as I get this out of his gill plate. Here we go. He's not harmed. Nothing to write home about. He's got nice color. Still fun to catch. lazy bass. Well, I think I'm gonna call it a night. Nice to be able to hurl that little tiny lure as far as you can with this setup. You'd be surprised. Anyway, I didn't get the topwater action that I was hoping for, but I did get one, and one is better than none. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.